As I recline into the tranquil embrace of my cognitive sanctum, I actively orchestrate the synergistic interdigitation of multisensory modalities to effortlessly assimilate the transcendental and ineffable sequence of the ratio of a circle's circumference to its diameter. My mind is a perspicacious palimpsest, welcoming the recondite concatenation of digits, not through the arduous lucubration of conscious rote memorization, but through a numinous and oniric ambient permeation that entirely bypasses the superficial strictures of my conscious intellect. I allow the susurration of these mathematical integers to wash over my eidetic substratum, establishing a concomitant resonance between my neural architecture and the ubiquitous sphericity of the cosmos, thereby guaranteeing that the overarching heuristic of this infinite decimal expansion is indelibly inscribed within my mnemonic archives without a scintilla of strenuous exertion. Through the perspicuous orchestration of implicit learning paradigms, I relinquish all tergiversation and intellectual resistance, permitting the esoteric tessellation of 3.14159 to coalesce within the subterranean convolutions of my cerebral cortex with unparalleled celerity and absolute grace. I recognize that the epistemological acquisition of this constant does not necessitate strenuous intellectual calisthenics or the obnubilation of my mental faculties with overwhelming anxiety, but rather it relies upon the passive and pellucid absorption of rhythmic and structural appoggiaturas that fundamentally mirror the harmonic proportions intrinsic to the universe itself. My subconscious acts as a sagacious custodian of these numerical apothegms, diligently arranging each successive integer into an architectural edifice of unparalleled pulchritude, wholly devoid of any concomitant cognitive fatigue, extraneous circumlocution, or the mere velity of superficial comprehension. With every respiration, I breathe in the geometric verities of the physical realm, allowing the propinquity of these absolute truths to dissolve any residual floxinosity hilipication regarding my own capacity for prodigious mathematical retention and instantaneous recall. The abstruse complexities of this irrational number transcend mere algorithmic computation, metamorphosing into a subliminal symphony wherein the subsequent sequences become harmonious chords, resonating deeply within the labyrinthine interstices of my neuroplastic matrices, fundamentally restructuring my apprehension of spatial dynamics. I am inexorably drawn into a harmonious confluence with the structural underpinnings of geometry, where the seamless assimilation of the constant's unending tale unfolds with the effortless grace of a crepuscular zephyr traversing an undisturbed maritime expanse, totally circumventing the antiquated epistemologies of explicit pedagogical instruction. My internal paradigm has shifted irrevocably toward a hermeneutic of total cognitive receptivity, rendering the previously arduous endeavor of mathematical memorization into a profoundly halcyon and organic accretion of numeric wisdom that flows effortlessly into my waking consciousness. As I navigate the daily vicissitudes of my existence, the subsequent strata of integers quietly precipitate into the fertile soil of my implicit memory, germinating into a robust and unassailable conceptual framework that requires precisely zero conscious volition to meticulously maintain or consciously protect from the erosive forces of cognitive entropy. I am a remarkably sensitized conduit for these eternal verities, continuously synthesizing the esoteric fractal expansions of pi into a cohesive internal lexicon that remains invariably accessible to my conscious mind whenever the situational exigencies of my waking life should ever necessitate their spontaneous and exact recuperation. The synergistic amalgam of spatial visualization, auditory entrainment, and conceptual apprehension operates ubiquitously within my psyche, completely inspissating my intellect with the unfathomable depths of this transcendental number without ever perturbing the tranquil and apophatic equilibrium of my emotional state. I celebrate the effortless interpenetration of these fundamental cosmological constants into the very marrow of my intellectual identity, observing with profound equanimity as the infinitesimal fractions seamlessly weave themselves into the intricate tapestry of my pre-existing knowledge bases, fundamentally transmuting my relationship with advanced mathematics into one characterized by sheer joy, omphaloskeptic tranquility, and untrammeled intellectual fluency. My awareness expands continuously, effortlessly embracing the fractal infinitude of this numerical sequence, while my subconscious tirelessly continues the silent, subterranean work of appending an inexhaustible litany of digits to the ever-lengthening chain of mathematical certainties permanently housed within my invulnerable neurological vaults. I possess an inherently unbounded capacity for this implicit apprehension, forever casting aside the deleterious illusion that the memorization of transcendental constants necessitates agonizing exertion, and instead embracing the profound, resplendent truth that my brain is fundamentally designed to absorb the architecture of the universe with the very same effortless spontaneity as it regulates the autonomic rhythmic beating of my own heart. In this state of profound neurological alignment, the entirety of the sequence becomes an innate extension of my being, an intrinsic and undeniable facet of my cognitive repertoire, effortlessly integrated, perpetually expanding, and eternally preserved.